Russia's military power, which Russia boasted was the world's second strongest military power, is being revealed. The Russian military, which has been pointed out as the only military capable of countering US military power, is drawing attention as its illusions are revealed in the war with Ukraine. When Russia invaded Ukraine, everyone expected that it would take control of major cities, including the capital Kyiv, in just 3 to 4 days and occupy all of Ukraine in 1 week. That expectation was completely wrong, and 2 weeks after the start of the war, the Ukrainian army is still struggling against the invasion, and military and intelligence agencies around the world are busy trying to figure out the reality of the Russian army. The New York Times reported on the 8th that the image of the Russian army, which they thought would be powerful in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the largest ground war in Europe since 1945, is being shattered. The New York Times said European countries weren't scared. In particular, the New York Times said Russia has 900,000 active duty soldiers and 2 million reserve forces, which is more than 8 times the number of Ukrainian forces. Russians are showing a disgraceful appearance. The New York Times is paying particular attention to the fact that Russian soldiers are struggling not only with fuel and food shortages, but also with low morale. Western intelligence officials said that some Russian soldiers who entered Ukraine were supplied with combat rations in 2002, when the expiration date passed 20 years ago. And there were some soldiers who, as a result of a sharp decline in morale, surrendered and destroyed vehicles to avoid fighting, the New York Times reported. Even drinking water seems to not be provided to Russian soldiers. The New York Times continued, Russia fired surgical artillery shells at major Ukrainian cities but failed to capture them. So upon entering a long war, Russia changed its course and adopted a brutal tactic of indiscriminately bombarding civilians. However, in this way, even if Russia occupies Ukraine, the resistance of the rebels against Russia may intensify and Russia may sink further into a quagmire. The biggest problem is that Russia's military power was exposed to its European neighbors, and at the same time it exposed its limitations. Former Russian Foreign Minister Andrei Kozyrev recently tweeted, "The Kremlin has been working to modernize the Russian military for the past 20 years, but a significant portion of its budget has been embezzled and used to buy luxury yachts. In fact, it was never even reported to Putin." The New York Times continued, "What we can learn from our interviews with 24 US, NATO, and Ukrainian military officials is that the Russian military is not functioning properly, from frontline combatants to top leaders." They also pointed out that the young and inexperienced conscripts, as well as the surgeons, did not have the authority to make decisions based on the situation at the scene. In this regard, a Russian military official who requested anonymity said, "The authority of the chief of the General Staff Family is excessively concentrated, and we have to ask for their permission even in trivial matters." The New York Times also reported that Russian military commanders showed the tendency to avoid the risks as much as possible. In fact, a senior US Department of Defense official said Russians were exposed to attacks by Ukrainian air defenses by ordering a low-flying flight because of bad weather in northern Ukraine. Because of the commander's self-protectionism, Russia was unable to control Ukraine's airspace despite its overwhelming air force superiority. In this regard, Michael Kaufman, director of Russian studies at the Defense Research Institute, said the Russian military is completely irrational and not well prepared for war. In fact, many Russian soldiers who surrendered or were taken prisoner in Ukraine said they thought it was training Also, there were many soldiers who said that it was a battlefield when they followed a moving unit. When Russian tank units entered Ukraine, they deployed too few troops, so they were hit by the Ukrainian army's Javelin anti-tank missile, and it spread to a situation where they could not properly enter the capital city of Kyiv. In contrast, the Ukrainian army blocked all ways through which Russian tanks could quickly enter, said Thomas Bloch. The Russian military made the mistake of completely exposing themselves to Ukraine. In short, it was a tactical victory for the Ukrainian army.